Hey guys, so for this video, we're gonna go back to my roots with a top 10 list. This is not my ordinary rankings video though. Rather than listing off the current best trios or current best solo players like you've all asked me to, I'll instead be going back in time and looking at the 10 greatest duos that split up. I'm not sure why, but I've been feeling really nostalgic lately. Maybe it's since season 3 is coming to a close, I don't really know. Whatever it is that's making me feel this way, I want to bring you all along for the ride as well. Just please, boys and girls, do your best to keep in mind that these are competitive rankings. I understand how awesome Ninja and Dr. Lupo were to watch in season 3, however they did not compete and therefore will not make the cut. Also remember, this is my own personal opinion and it's more than okay to disagree with me. Just wait until you hear my full reasonings before you leave any angry comments. So with all of that being said, let's dive into the top 10 best Fortnite duos that split apart. Coming in at the 10th spot is KNG Innocence and KNG Assault. Assault started playing together around Chapter 1 Season 7. I remember watching their world record kill attempts on YouTube, just mind blown at how good some controller players were. I wasn't the only one who was impressed as they were quickly snatched up by Ghost Gaming. These former console players were the real deal. In terms of their competitive placements, Innocence and Assault dominated Epic's first ever open duo tournaments. They placed 6th in the Share the Love series, 4th in the Scallywag Cup, and top 30 in the Lux Cup. On top of that, they finished top 25 in the first 2 World Cup qualifiers and top 40 in the final 2. All of these placements were insanely impressive, but it unfortunately meant they had missed out on a trip to New York City. This was the turning point, and what made it even worse was that they didn't see much success while playing together in trios or squads as well. It's hard to say exactly what happened. All I know is when duos began up again at the end of Chapter 2 Season 1, Assault had officially split. RIP the OG controller duo. Moving on to the number 9 spot, we have FaZe Mongraal and Mongraal Benjyfishy. Mongraal and Benji may be the most recent duo on my list to split. They only began competing together at the end of Chapter 2 Season 1. Mongraal had been duoing with Mitro before that, and Benji had been duoing with Savage. However, because the two of them played trios and squads together, they wanted to test their luck in duos. As teammates, Mongraal and Benjyfishy finished 7th in the Winter Royale, 2nd in the first Chapter 2 Season 2 Duo Cash Cup, 2nd again in the first week of FNCS qualifiers, and top 3 in 2 other Cash Cups. Similar to Innocence and Assault, Mongraal and Benji had great results early on, but just could not make it count when they needed to. The duo failed to qualify for the FNCS Duo Grand Finals after only placing 15th in their semi-final heat. Following that event, Benji decided to try out with his old duo Mr. Savage and immediately found more success. The UK God duo we thought would win every single event had broken up. So while they really didn't duo for that long, they undoubtedly deserve a spot on my list. Moving on to the 8th spot, and yes, I know I kind of spoiled it with the thumbnail, nonetheless it's Ninja and Reverse 2K. This absolutely legendary duo formed right before the World Cup qualifiers. They had not played much scrims together or competed in any sort of open tournaments like the other top tier duos did. Still, Ninja and Reverse were ready. They finished 130th in the first World Cup qualifier, 14th in the next one, 7th in the one after that, and 42nd in the final one. Had they just scored 2 points higher in that 3rd week, then they would have qualified for the World Cup finals in New York. That is ridiculous to think about. Like, you gotta keep in mind, this was the duo that most pro players clowned. Ninja was seen as a content creator and therefore no one took them seriously. This did not stop them though. In the most recent Winter Royale, Ninja and Reverse finished top 50 on the 2nd day and top 100 in the 3rd. As far as why they split up, it was basically a combination of Ninja not playing Fortnite and Reverse wanting to grind more. Their competitive goals simply did not line up. Regardless, this duo will forever live on in our hearts. Up next at numero 7 is 100 Thieves Arkham and 100 Thieves Falconer. If you don't know who either of these players are, then you either live under a rock or you don't watch NA West, because this duo dominated that region. To begin, they actually played the World Cup warm-up with different teammates. Luckily for them though, they made the right choice and chose to duo for the actual qualifiers. In them, Arkham and Falconer won the first week, placed 6th in the 3rd, 5th in the 4th, and 1st once more in the 5th. Then, while at the World Cup finals in New York, they finished 5th for a slight bag of $900,000. Finally, in their last event together, they finished top 15 in 2 different days of the Winter Royale. Now, I don't want to speculate, but from what I've been told, they split apart after Arkham stole Falconer's girlfriend. I'm kidding, that's a joke. The real reason it didn't work was that they wanted to try something new. They had not seen that great results in trios or squads, plus duos was back as the main competitive game mode. This meant the end for the best in the West. 6th up is the EU Miracle duo of Wolfiez and Rojo. Why I'm calling them the Miracle duo is because outside of one event, they they really were not that consistent. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they were bad or that they did not deserve to win. I'm just saying without one pop-off, they would not be on this list. The tournament that changed their life was the Fortnite World Cup. The two of them had been doing for about a month before the qualifiers started, but were not seen as frontrunners to go to New York. They finished 98th in the first week, 27th in the third week, and 80th in the fourth week. They only had one opportunity left to prove themselves. In the final week, with the last chance they had, Wolfiez Rojo came first. They had successfully qualified for the World Cup finals. Pretty awesome, right? Well, that's not even the half of it. In New York, Wolfiez Rojo surprised everyone by coming second. Yes, you heard that correctly. The duo that almost did not qualify for the grand finals won a fat $2.25 million. For some reason, however, they did not play trios together and stopped being duos pretty shortly after. I guess the money was not enough. Feels bad, man. Halfway through, and the number 5 spot goes to 100 Thieves Ceice and 100 Thieves Elevate. Unlike pretty much every duo I've mentioned so far, Ceice and Elevate were regarded as a top-tier duo prior to the World Cup. They won the WSOE 3 LAN in December of 2018, as well as placed 12th in the Lux Cup and 50th in the Gauntlet. This dominance continued into the World Cup qualifiers, where Ceice and Elevate finished 21st in the first week, 4th in the next one, and 1st in the one after that. Can you guess where they placed at the World Cup finals? Exactly one spot beneath Wolfiez and Rojo. Ceice and Elevate had lived up to the hype and were rewarded with $1.8 million. Alright, then why the heck did they stop playing together? If I'm gonna be completely honest, I have no idea. The two of them did really well in trios and NA West together. They came top 10 in almost every FNCS week and finished second in the grand finals. My guess would be that it had to do with their subpar squad performance. Whatever it was, it really did not matter in the end, as Elevate quit Fortnite for Valorant. F in the comments. Fourth on my list is a more recent duo to split, and that is Bugha and Liquid Stretch. Bugha and Stretch began duoing in Chapter 2 Season 1. This was after they had played together in trios and squads, and knew they had great chemistry as teammates. In their first ever event together, the Winter Royale, they placed 3rd in the second day on NA East. In addition to that, they finished top 20 in the duo FNCS warm-up, 2nd in the first Contender Cash Cup, and top 15 in 2 FNCS qualifier weeks. By far their best placement though was coming 5th in the FNCS Grand Finals in April. Before you say anything, no, I'm not ranking them this highly because I'm a Bugha fanboy. Me being a Bugha fanboy is completely irrelevant to this list. In all seriousness, Stretch and Bugha had the most recent accomplishments out of everyone. They were an elite level duo last season and would still be one today. The thing is, Stretch did not like the fact that Bugha streamed tournaments and decided to move on. Thus, while they may not have millions earned together as a duo, you cannot deny they had the potential to be the best duo ever. On the topic of best duos ever, the number 3 rank that split up is without a doubt Tfue and Cloakzy. As I'm sure you all know, Tfue and Cloak started to duo all the way back in Chapter 1 Season 3. FaZe set them up to play Fortnite Friday together, they won it, and the rest was history. Here's a taste of their most impressive achievements. Tfue and Cloak placed 5th in the Summer Skirmish, 18th in the Fall Skirmish, and 1st at the TwitchCon LAN event. That LAN tournament was the biggest Fortnite LAN before the World Cup came around. And speaking of the World Cup, Tfue and Cloak were seen as shoo-ins to qualify for the grand final. Almost everyone unanimously agreed they were a top duo. However, they continuously came up short. The duo finished 6th in the second week of qualifiers, 13th in the third week, and 22nd in the fourth. It's obvious they were elite, but they still could not finish top 3. By the time duos came around again in Chapter 2 Season 1, Cloak decided he was done with Fortnite. This really did not seem to hurt Tfue too bad, especially because he found another amazing teammate with Scoped. Still, it's sad to see their legacy come to an end. Also, neither of them follow me on Twitter. Almost at the end here, the second best duo that split up is TSM Vinny and TSM ZexRow. As hard as it is to include ZexRow on my list because I just hate the kid, I cannot leave him and Vinny off of this one. They began competing together as duos in Chapter 1 Season 4. Funnily enough, ZexRow was actually duoing with Bucky before that while they were both signed to the Pittsburgh Knights. Back to Vinny and ZexRow, and their first huge performance was at TwitchCon. They placed 3rd just behind Tfue and Cloakzy, racking up $165,000. Soon after that, they continued to perform well, finishing 22nd at WSOE 3, 3rd at ESL Katowice, and 9th in the Scallywag Cup. What really set this duo apart though was their World Cup story. The two of them qualified in the last week of qualifiers after staying on the sidelines due to ZexRow's wrist. That qualification led them to the World Cup finals where they placed 9th and won one of the most exciting endgames of all time. The only downside to this was that this was the last major event they would duo in. Vinny quit Fortnite for Valorant before duos returned. Also, ZexRow sucks. Now for the moment you've all been waiting for, the best best duo of all time that split up is Cooler Aqua and Nhyrox. This partnership formed just before the World Cup qualifiers in around March of 2019. Both of them were solos looking for a duo, so they tried each other out. After a few days of practice just working on their communication skills, the two of them agreed to duo. This was evidently the right decision as they placed 8th in the World Cup warm-up, 64th in the first qualifier, and 3rd in the second qualifier. The last-minute duo that almost didn't come to be had successfully qualified for the World Cup finals. On the main stage in New York City, Aqua and Nhyrox got off to a pretty bad start. They sat around the 30th spot 3 games in, meaning they only had 3 games left to turn it around. And turn it around they did. Aqua and Nhyrox ended up winning their next 2 games back-to-back and became the first World Cup duo champions. But wait a minute, you're saying they split up? They literally won the World Cup. Well, Aqua felt like he was not at his full potential with Nhyrox. He got along much better with a player named Stompy because they were from the same country. I guess it worked out since Aqua won the trio FNCS and placed 4th in FNCS duos with Stompy, but I still would have loved to see Aqua and Nhyrox continue to play together. Overall guys, that is my top 10 list for the best duos that split up. Let me know down below if you agree or disagree, as well as any duos that I may have left out. On top of that, if you enjoyed the video or learned something new, do be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and to turn on post notifications. Shout out to everyone using code JERIAN, I love you all. A ton more of you guys have been letting me know you use my code, which is awesome. I really want to shout out every single one of you, so do your best to let me know. Otherwise, that's it from me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later!